Hello, Be in Health Tribe. This is Pastor Donna.
And Pastor Scott.
And wow, do we have some news for you. We've just been through a really interesting time. Yeah.
It's been a roller coaster over the last month since since your letter went out to everybody.
Yeah, I'm sure it has been. So the letter went out. So I guess I just wanted to give a little bit more information, or maybe just more personal information about the transition. And so as you all well know, I have been serving with Be in Health for, gosh, I don't even know how long.
Beginning?
I was ordained in 96. Okay, so that tells you something. I was ordained in 96, but I really didn't get going till much later than that, after the kids were grown and stuff. And Henry was always grooming me for the job that I was going to one day have, which was obviously being a pastor, but not only that, but CEO of Hope of the Generations Church and Be in Health. And but I knew that it wasn't a forever thing, okay? I just didn't know how long. I did expect it to be a wee bit longer, but, you know, God just does what he does, you know?
He does.
So to fast forward everything, of course, many of you, if not all of you, know that Henry passed away in 2019. In fact, we're coming up on that reunion real soon, November. Actually, September through November is usually it's kind of my rougher months. My mother passed away in September, and then sorry. and then Henry's birthday, and then of course he passed away like almost it was a month and 2 days later. So, but anyway, it'll be 3 years, and so I believe I was doing exactly what God wanted me to do during the time period that I had there. I really didn't know exactly when God would have me step down from that responsibility. Not that I would ever step down from being a voice and to be in health and hope of the generations. That'll never not happen, right?
Right. Always a voice in what we're doing.
But through the years, Henry and I really had hoped that Scott would become, I guess, the one to take over the wheel at whatever point that we were not going to be there. And, but, you know, through the years, that was a little bumpy road there. We were kind of wondering.
It wasn't the smoothest journey over the last 20.
No.
Well, since July 25th, 99 is when I stepped in the building.
Yeah.
And left law enforcement in 99, came to work for you guys January 2nd of 2000.
Yeah.
So 22 years and some.
Yeah. So
change.
to say that he's had training would be an understatement, because he shadowed Henry for so long. Then, of course, he shadowed me as well. But he's done everything at Be in Health and Hope of the Generations Church that I can think of, except for maybe he was never a doula.
No, and I officially never worked in accounting.
That's true.
But accounting. I did the bookstore.
That's true.
They worked hand in hand.
So just a few things, just very few things. But so over the years, he was really in training and he didn't know it. And so I'm fast forwarding now. I kind of want to backtrack a little bit, actually. But so there was a season where all of the elders, we went and we were licensed with a well-known group. We just figured we wanted to go through the whole process just because we just felt like it was a good thing to do at the time. I'm not saying it was needed necessarily, but Henry really thought it was a good thing to do, and we're really glad we went through the process. But during that process, he also made Sarah, my daughter, your wife, go through that process too, because he said one day you're going to want that you have done this, because he knew that she definitely had the calling of a pastor on her life.
I agree.
And I agreed too. So that was already she was kind of like me. She kind of just didn't want to take on that role until, it was time. So with that being said, about a year ago, would have been a year ago in July, end of July, August, I had taken a sabbatical where I had taken a trip for myself to just kind of get my bearings a little bit more, because I was coming out of the really intense grieving stage. The church was doing great. Everybody was doing fine. Henry had really prepared all of us for the future, and it went very well. But I needed some direction during that time. And that's when God started to unfold the plan to actually transition me from having all that responsibility to the one who's supposed to take it next. And so God began to show me during that time, from that time till you got the letter, how to really unfold that. And preparing Scott, preparing Sarah, preparing myself. I'm not sure you can totally be prepared for any of that. But nonetheless, but how nice it was, I think, to be able to be here on the planet with you Whereas opposed to when Henry
Yes.
flew away, we just really, I mean, everything was in place, but it's still very difficult when you wish you had that voice. Now, then we had to rely on what he had said.
Right.
You know, whereas now you get to actually pick my
I get
brain.
to pick your brain.
Yeah. So
Constantly.
with that, yeah.
Hello.
What do you think of this? What do you think of that? But so with that being said, if you had not received the letter, it's with great excitement that I have stepped down from being CEO and senior pastor and president of the board. And Scott has definitely said yes to it. And so,
Yep.
so he is now senior pastor, president of the board, and CEO,
CEO of Being Health.
of Being Health. He's been trained well. And Sarah is now principal of Hope of the well, it's the Hope of the
Overcomers
Generations,
Academy,
their school. And so it's the Overcomers Academy. So she's now, because you had to step down from that.
The sun moved on us since we started this.
It just keeps moving, trust me. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's doing really well. I mean, the transition, I remember when the transition with you after Dad passed. That was something I don't want to ever.
Well, you don't have to.
I know.
Yeah.
But that being said,
Yeah.
it's been a great blessing to be able to still have you on ground that I can talk to, I can rub elbows with and go, okay, I don't need mom. I need my now vice president, because she is the vice president of Being Health and what we're doing, and to ask you your opinion in things. And I can say when we first started this journey 23 years ago, this was not what I thought was going to play out. I know you and Dad and God had hopes, but this was not, which I always knew this was part of what we'd be doing. I mean, being a part of Being Health and Hope of the Generations Church, once I fell in love with the place and the place kind of fell in love with me, this is home, and it always will be.
I'm sorry about that phone.
It is what it is. But we decided to film this
we just did because,
outside in the woods.
In the woods.
You know, you might get a deer walk up behind us. That would be really cool.
Or the squirrels, they always so nuts on me all the time.
So between phones and everything else, but here's the thing one of the things that I was very appreciative. This has kind of been our relationship from the beginning. Most of the videos that we've done that you guys have seen us do.
They're very casual.
It's casual. So to do a transition video.
Yes. All uptight and stuff. That would not be us.
In a suit and tie, either in the bridge or in a studio, didn't feel natural.
No.
And what no one knows, which I'll go ahead and say here because we're kind of real in all this. We were going to film this an hour ago. And the tech guy
was very irritated and annoyed.
Had to do some walkout because the tech wasn't working.
Yeah, and that's really unusual for you.
It is.
Yeah, but I just went and tinkered in my shop, and while you just did whatever you needed to do, and let him just do his thing.
But I'll say this: the things of relying on God, because I can't. You Dad had said it. I've heard you say it, and I understand it now. As a job of senior pastor and president and CEO, I can't do this on my own.
Nope.
There's the trusting in God, but there's also trusting in the people that God put in place around.
You're right.
One of the greatest statements that I remember learning growing up, and I heard Dad say it, the greatest leaders surround themselves with people who know more than they do.
Yeah.
Pastor Benny, who is CFO and treasurer of the board, brilliant in the world of finances. How you interact with people and think from a overall view, what I've watched in the last 3 years amazes me because you see things from a different perspective. And with Pastor John and Pastor Adrian and Scotty Wahashi and Pastor Sarah involved.
Yeah, because I forgot to tell you that we ordained her as well.
Yes.
She's a pastor now.
She's a pastor.
Yeah,
and
we knew that anyway. But
everyone involved adds into this. And I watched you and I watched Dad, Dr. Wright, have people step in and talk all the time. And we all kind of converged and talked in the board to see how that growth happens. And it was cool to watch. But now sitting in the chair, as we joke around in the bridge, the chair.
Make it so.
I'm really blessed with the team and family that we have at Be in Health and Hope the Generations Church to accomplish the vision that God gave you and Dad 30 years ago ish. And
oh yeah, absolutely.
and we get to see it continue and move on and grow bigger and whatever God has in plan for it next.
Well, you know, I'm a firm believer that the team around me made me look good. Honestly, I mean, they're just good at what they do.
That's what I said about the OA.
Yeah,
as a principal, like, y'all make me look great.
That's exactly right. And, you know, anticipating needs and things like that. Now, granted, it was a growing experience for all, and it will be for it still will continue to be so. Because God doesn't ever want us to stay comfortable. He likes us to be content.
But not complacent.
And because in comfortableness does come complacency. So he likes us to be a little,
Oh, it's been...
Yeah. So it'll continue to do
coaster.
so. Yeah. But but for those of you wondering about all of this, I'm doing really well. I'm excited for whatever God has for me. I'm still very involved with the ministry. I'm excited to see what's coming with Acts in the future, and I'm still a pastor. So and I love prayer and praise,
and has an open door to speak anytime.
That's what I believe him. I will too. I will. So yeah, but I won't take advantage of it either. So yeah.
Well, sun's going down.
Yeah, leaves are raining on us, and it's a beautiful fall day.
It really is.
Yes, just gorgeous.
Gorgeous out. We decided to film out here near the campground.
Yeah.
And just to be out here in what God created, and it's also both of. I mean, you come out here and sit for your time with God.
And I used to do a lot of my Facebook Lives out here too at one time. Yeah.
I normally go a little bit farther out in the woods for my time with God. It's still too close to the house, but then again, we wouldn't have power to record.
Correct. So this would not be my first choice either, by the way, but there it is.
But you got anything else you want to?
No, I'm excited for the future, and I'm sure Henry's very pleased in heaven. And so it's a new era.
Yeah. Well, I'll see you. We'll see you.
We will. On
everything from the OC to Be in Health Lives, and we're really excited. And I'll go ahead and do a little bitty plug in here for some of the future stuff. We've got new conferences set up for that we're working on for 2023. We've got some maybe a live periodical show that we'll do coming up.
Yeah, maybe.
That will be out there. And so we've got some cool things that God's put on our heart to accomplish. And
that's going to be fun.
It's
whatever it is.
It will be.
Yeah.
With that, thank you guys so much for all of your support with Be in Health and Hope the Generations Church.
And pray for him because he's going to need it.
But I'm excited, and we're all excited, and we're all in support of what God's got for us next. And with that, so long.
See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.